Okay, hey, we've been joined by Lydie Denier. She's the author of that book, A Voice for Ambassador J. Stevens. You might recall she was on the show just recently, and we were talking about the book. But just last night, she was at the debate, the presidential debate. Lydie, you there?
Yes, I'm there. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Hey, good. It's so good to hear your voice. Tell us about
Thank
yourself
you.
real quick. Remind people, who is Lydie Denier?
So I knew Chris Stevens. I was engaged to him at one point of my life, and we had a really nice relationship. But like all good things, sometimes there's an end to it. And after he died, to me it was devastating. He was a great guy, and there were so many things, said about him, and got me angry that people were talking about him without knowing him, and nobody was saying anything to discredit those people. So I wrote a book, and it's called A Voice for Ambassador J. Christopher Stevens, and I'm very proud of it. I've got some very good reviews on Amazon.com, and to me, it's a good tribute to him. And, the third debate was last night, and I really want to go. I wanted to be there. To me, it's such history, what's going on. It's never, it's amazing.
Sure.
So many people were watching it on television, and the first two debates I watched on TV, but I thought, would be nice to be there, to feel the energy of the room. And so, I made a phone call and to the Trump campaign, and I say, hey, is it possible? Because friends of mine tried to get tickets and they couldn't get any tickets. So is it possible? And they say, you alone? I say, yeah, me alone. If I cannot get any tickets, me alone. And they said, great. So I took a flight yesterday morning. I went to Las Vegas, and I was so pleased because Patricia Smith was there, and also John Teagan, who was one of the survivors who came back from Benghazi. And also President Obama, half-brother, was there. And we were all staying in the same hotel, and on the way to the debate.
Let me ask you a couple of questions, first of all. Now, when did you call Trump? The same day?
No, the day before.
The day before. So, okay, and you called him up like in the morning?
I called his, his campaign people, and I said, is it possible to have one seat? They said, of course. So, but I'm the one, I decided I wanted to go.
Right. And so who'd you call? You called Corey Lewandowski?
I called him. I called, there's a few people who works for him that
Right.
I have the cell phone, and, I send a text and say, hey, if there's an available seat, I would love to come.
Now, did you fly yourself out, or did they pay for your ticket?
Actually, no. They said, we'll be happy to send you a ticket. So I said, okay, you're on.
Great. That is so cool.
To me, it was amazing. And, I hadn't been in Las Vegas for a very, very, very long time. Last time I was there was with Chris. It's been years.
Oh,
so, it was, I don't know. I wanted to go. I really wanted.
Okay, then where did you stay? What hotel?
I stayed at the Trump Hotel.
Okay, so they put you up for free. They gave you a free room, right?
Oh, yeah. Free everything.
Was it a nice room, like a suite? Was it a nice room?
Yeah, very nice room. And, in that hotel, there's no casino, so it's very quiet.
Right.
It's very beautiful. It's away from the Strip. And so you don't have, you actually, when you go to sleep, it's nice. I've stayed on the Strip before, and it's just crazy. So,
yeah, the Trump,
but they were very kind, and everybody, there was lots of people I knew who were there.
Yeah, the Trump Hotel doesn't have any gambling. There's no casino. It's just a hotel where you stay. Now,
yes.
But now that morning of the debate, they had a big protest out there with all these taco trucks going around. Was that a big disruption?
Well, I wasn't. I arrived early afternoon, so I wasn't there for the protest, but I heard about it.
Right.
I heard about it, that it was really disrupting, a lot of things going on in Las Vegas. So yes, lots of protests, definitely. Even then, when we drove there, there was also protest, going on, but from either side. It was not just protest against one or the other. It was protest for both of them.
Yeah, but the protest.
But more and more, it was more on one side. But it's crazy. It was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane over there.
The protest with those taco trucks, right? That was put on by the culinary union. It was put on by a big, powerful union here in town. And they had sound trucks. They had a stage. They had the media was there. They had set up for the media. So that was a well-financed, well-organized protest, whereas the other protests that were held on Harmon and Swenson, the little ones, for the regular people who just wanted to protest.
The regular people,
Yeah.
There was some dressed like Trump. There was some. I mean, it was just like, oh my God, it's.
Now was Donald Trump staying at that hotel too, as well, where that big giant protest was going on?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where he was staying. I have no clue. I didn't ask. I don't know.
Now, did you get to?
But lots of people were staying there. Lots of journalists, and so yeah.
Now, did you get to meet Trump before the debate?
Not before the debate. After the debate, I did, and I said, I'm happy to be here, and thank you.
Okay,
for,
Now, when did you run into this guy? Like I'm fascinated with Obama's brother. This man who's I believe from Kenya, right? It's a Kenyan, but he's an American citizen. When did you get to meet him and Mr. Teague and Patricia Smith? When did you meet them? In the afternoon, or on the way to the?
Well, it's actually when they all called us from in our room and said, "Okay, time to come down, time to go." So we all were, waiting to get into our cars, respective cars, and then I've known Patricia for a while now, so her and I share a car together. But this was this very tall guy, and I look at him like, who is he? And Patricia said, oh, that's Obama's half brother. I'm like, oh, okay. So I knew he was there. I hadn't met Teague yet. It was my first time, and it was great. So we all end up, pretty much going together, what happened is that, we were supposed to be all seated at 5:15.
Right.
But what happened is that we got, the cops pulled all the cars on the side road, and they say, you have to wait. And at 5:30, you're like, okay, how long do we have to wait? Because it's starting at 6. We should be in our seats already. And it's only at 5:45. That's okay. You guys can go. So we went, and when we were right there.
Well, let me stop you for a second. Now, when the cops pulled you over, I guess you had like limo drivers, right?
Yeah, we had some. It's like the motorcad. That's big SUV, black SUV. All of us, we were all in different cars, but all of us following each other, basically.
Now, when the cops pulled you over, did they know, hey, this is a Trump party, that they're VIP guests for the event? Did they know who you were? Or?
Well, it's hard to miss because on the car it says Trump Pence. So
really?
It's hard to miss. It's hard to. We couldn't be confused with the Clinton campaign. Definitely not. It's written there, right there on the windshield of the car. So they knew exactly that whomever was inside those cars had something to do for the Trump side. Yes.
Now, was anybody in the cars negotiating with them, saying, "Hey, we got to get out. We got to be in there. This is our credentials. Look, we have passes. We have to get in."
Oh yes, they tried. They tried. They said, "No, got to wait. They said, "Why?" And nobody gave us an answer. No one.
Wow.
So we kept waiting.
You think that would be a big story?
At one point, I said, "Where is this place?" They said, "You see the light? We have to make a left. It's right there." I said, "Maybe we just walk. It'd be easier." But no, we had to wait, and we did. We waited. And it was until we waited in the cars until 5:45.
Okay, so then you get to the event, then what happens there?
So we get out of the car. Before you get out of the car, you have, dogs sniffing, the cars, and you have to roll your windows down so they can see who is inside. And finally, we get out, and you have the security check. So you open your bag and you show your invite and everything, where you seated. And they all told us, stay on one side and wait here. And we're like, more waiting? Really? You got to be kidding. So at this point, people who were assigned to us from the Trump campaign, they're arguing with the security guard. It's like, come on. I mean, those have, they are guests of Mr. Trump.
All right.
They need to be seated like now. And the guy looked at us, he had a smirk on his face and said, yeah, I know.
Okay, now
my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, let me interrupt you for a couple of seconds, okay? Because now I've been to many of these events, and I go in through the press section, and there's very little bit of checking. And Hillary's there, Trump's there. I've been to all these events, okay? And I go through that Secret Service entrance that's for press, but usually that's also the VIP entrance. Were you going through the same entrance for press and VIP, or the main entrance?
It was the same entrance.
For press and VIP, right?
And VIPs, yeah. And we had VIP. We had VIP cards. We had, all of us had some.
And it was the Secret Service that was holding you up?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And they did. And at one point, I told one of them, I said, if I give you my driving license, would that help? He said, no. I'm like, okay. It was just crazy, really crazy. It was insane. And if it happened to just one of us, okay, maybe there's like, okay, they need to check more on the, who we are or whatever. But it's all of us. And we all belong to the same gang,
Yeah.
So it was done on purpose. They knew as soon as both parties were on stage, they waited at 6:10, almost 6:15. They said, okay, you can go now.
Oh, so they didn't let you in until Trump and Hillary were on the stage, so then you wouldn't be videotaped coming in.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So like that. Oh, yeah. No, it was done on purpose. Let's face it.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, did they do the same thing to the Hillary friends, the VIP guests of the Hillary campaign? Were they held out there, too, or were they just ushered right in?
Oh, no. They were not held up for sure.
Oh, wow.
They went right in. And we know that for a fact. It's because at one point when we were pulled over on the road, there was also motorcades with Hillary's, some members of the family, not close family, but, some members, I'm not sure who was there, but it was in one car. And they let that car go, and they asked us to wait. So no, it was done on purpose. Let's face it.
Well, now listen. Let me ask you another question, Lydie. Has anybody from the press? Have you talked to anybody from the press besides me about this?
Actually, just to one person. It's Rita Cosby. She was there last night also.
Okay.
And I was on for a few minutes on the radio with her. So, and I told her, she said, oh, my God, I knew you were here. She knew because actually Megyn Kelly said, and we know that Lydie Denier, the former fiance of Ambassador Chris Stevens, is here tonight. So everybody knew. The press knew I was there. But nobody could see me on the floor. Guess what? Because I was held up outside for 40 minutes.
I was watching the news all day long, and they started mentioning your name. I guess it was about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon that they started talking about. Right away, they talked about Obama's brother. But your name didn't come up until about 3 o'clock or 4, maybe 2, 3, 4 o'clock around that time.
Yeah.
Okay, very.
This is around the time that I arrived at the hotel, so it's probably, they were waiting to make sure I was there or, whatever.
Right.
But it's just, no, it's crazy. So I was supposed to be seated next to pretty much all of them, Patricia and Tig, and so we all got separated because suddenly we couldn't be where we were supposed to be sitting. which was in the first row. I was on row A, seat 13, and so I sat in a little bit in the. No, I had a good seat, but let's face it, row A was the best. We had a better seat.
The thing is, listen, it's great to be there, but the thing is, you were invited by a presidential candidate. I'm no Trump fan. Okay, I'll tell you right off the bat, but I'm no Hillary fan either. But you were invited by the candidate. To sit in this special seat of honor, which was called all day long. This is just outrageous. I can't believe no one's reporting on this. Now,
I know.
Real quick though, what is this guy? This Obama's brother? What's he like? Is he like a funny guy?
I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I say hello, I introduce myself,
right?
And that's about it. But he seems very nice and very down to earth, and it's. I didn't get a chance. I mean, as for Patricia, and I know Patricia, and
right.
So it was great to see her. And I was so happy to meet Tig, and I thanked him for, what he did and for trying, and for trying to save the lives. And it's the atmosphere, just to be there and to be, I was thrilled. I was thrilled to be there, absolutely. And all my friends were very jealous because some of them tried to get tickets to go there, and they say, "Oh, sorry, can't, sold out." So, it was a privilege, definitely.
Now, what about after the debate? Were you, because you weren't in those seats of honor like you should have been, and Hillary's friends, they were in their seats where they were supposed to be in the front row, right?
Of course.
Okay, this is amazing. Now, what about after the event? Were you escorted to the front to where you're supposed to be, and saw Trump and his family and stuff like that?
I saw Trump and his family. I had I talked to Eric Trump, one of his sons, for a little while, and then I went to the spin room, and I did a radio show for Rita Cosby, and talked to a few people. Actually, a lot of people knew who I was, and actually a lot of them said, you're very courageous to come out with a book.
All right, I agree with that. Yeah, but now,
yeah, okay.
Was Eric was he aware when you talked to Trump's people? Were they aware that you guys were mistreated like this by the police and by the security?
I told him. I told Mr. Trump just after the debate. I shook his hand, and he saw me. And I said, yeah, I'm here, but it was very difficult. I said, held out for 40 minutes. And he said, I'm so sorry. And I told Eric Trump, and basically, figured I tried to see what really happened there, because it's not just one person, it's all of us that got treated this way.
Yeah, and that can't be by accident either. Okay, now how did it go in the spin room? In the spin room, were people asking you about this? How come you weren't seated in this place? And how come just Rita Cosby the only one to talk to you?
Well, yeah, it was really crazy. It was really insane. And because I was not really scheduled per se, because I was, I didn't make up my, I didn't want to go, but I was not shy, but, I'm like, should I ask for ticket or not? And then decided, why not? Let's ask. If there's no tickets, there's no tickets. So they sort of knew that I was there without really knowing that I was there. I did talk to BBC,
okay,
which was really good. But I met a few people who knew that I had wrote the book, and some of them, read it and congratulated me. And so I met some, really nice people. I have lots of business cards.
Now, what about, was Obama's brother, was he being interviewed in the spin room?
I think he actually got interviewed by Sean Hannity.
So now, when you guys were in the spin room, did you have a special place to be, or you were just wandering around with no...
Pretty much, I stayed next to the person who was appointed to me, and I stayed with Patricia
right.
and Tig. So we can hang out, all of us together. But there was no, we were not going from one booth to the other booth, no.
Okay, very interesting, very interesting. This whole thing is so bizarre. How is Patricia Smith? How's she holding up?
She's holding up good. She really hopes it's not her who's going to be president. I mean, she thinks that, can't happen. But she's holding good. But if you get her to talk about Sean, she has tears, of course, because she misses him, and that's her only child. So it's really hard on her. Her health is good. She's having a little hard time to walk, so we had to walk slowly for her. But she's I love her. She's great. She's a great lady. She's very nice and very kind woman.
Yeah, it's a shame because they do kind of mistreat her in the media. The press kind of is disrespectful to her, in my opinion.
Very disrespectful. Oh, very.
Yeah, that's
horrible.
That really is a shame because she's a mother. That's just a horrible thing. Now,
what a mom, and you know what? She has the right to grieve the way she wants.
Right.
It's let her grieve. Let her. I mean, so what? I mean, for her, I mean, she said that when Hillary Clinton held her in her arms and said, we're going to go after the guy who did that video, that's because of that. It's because of that video that your son died. And then finding out that it is not true. She said she lied to me. And I'm still waiting for her to call me and say, hey, I am sorry I lied to you. But, she knows that will never happen.
You know what? If you can, if you're in contact with her, I'd love to do an interview with her if she'd like to come on the show and tell her story.
She would love to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She has an open invitation. I would love to have her on anytime. Now,
absolutely.
Yeah, because that's these are the stories people need to hear. Now, what about after the debate, after the spin room? Did you get to go out and party a little bit?
We all went back to the hotel, and there's actually another woman who was there. Her name is Leslie Milwee. Have you heard of her?
No, I don't think so.
She's one of the Bill Clinton accuser. He when she was working as a journalist, and he robbed her many times, and a few times actually. So she was sexually assaulted by him on 3 different occasions. So she was there also last night. So there was a group of people, and we all came back to the hotel, hang out a little bit, down the lobby, and so there was not like a big party of any kind. Just people meet, you mingle and you say hello. And a friend of mine happened to be in Vegas at the same time, so it was just, actually lots of people that I knew, even people who live in Los Angeles, that they were there. So it was good.
Okay, great. Now, how is the book doing? Because I know when I interviewed you, it had just come out. So how's it been doing? Is it getting a warm reception?
People who read it, they understand why I wrote it. People who haven't read it, they say, oh, she's trying to cash in. It's like, no, I'm not trying to cash in. I think it's very important that he's not being forgotten. And when you read the book, people say, oh, no, I understand why she did it. It's an amazing story. He was an amazing guy, and this should never happen. And he should not be forgotten. But I get lots of very good reviews. So it's doing good. And it's like it was hard to get it out. But it's doing good. I did a fantastic book signing in Laguna Beach 2 days ago. Lots of people came, and it lasted for an hour and a half. And what I do, I read 2 chapters, and then people could ask questions, and there was very interesting questions. So I had a great time, and I'm planning on doing another book signing in San Diego. And Patricia Smith said, if you do one in San Diego, you tell me, so I'll be there for you. I'll bring people. So that's very nice of her.
Oh, great. So now when will the book signing be in San Diego? What date, do you know?
I don't know. I have to see, the schedule and see where I'm going to do it. But definitely before the end of the month.
Okay, I'm looking
You want to come?
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, I'm looking at Amazon right now. It's 92% positive reviews, and there is not a single, not one single negative review. Like none of those 1 star. They're all either 4 stars or 5 stars. Almost all 5 stars. Now,
yeah.
Okay, so I asked you if you have any appearances coming up, and I asked you about the book. What else do you want to leave us with? Because I know we don't have much time.
Well, I hope to be on Sean Hannity. I hope Sean Hannity is going to read the book, and I hope that he'll say, okay, come on the show. I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so, too. You think they would support you, yeah.
Yes, I would hope so. And, I don't know if you know Megan Kelly, but thank you, Megan, for talking about me, and I'd love to be on her show, too. So now it's out there.
Okay, great. Listen, Lydie, Denier, thank you so much for this information. This is really we should put out a press release on the way you were treated.
Yes.
Really, because this is really scandalous. The way that whole thing was treated, with to have that big protest and the taco trucks, and then to have his special guests mistreated this way and diverted and held up there, because there's no excuse for holding people up at that press entrance. Oh, you're on the list. You show your ID. They go through your bag, and that's it. Yeah.
And we had the invite. We had the invite that says which row, which seat, and who we are. They knew what they were doing. They knew.
Yeah,
it was not a mistake. It was on purpose.
Lydie Denier, thank you so much. Okay, if anything comes up, you give me a call right away. We'll put you right on the air.
Okay, perfect.